Hey guys, John Di Lemme here, the founder of Conservative Business Journal and a host of the CBJ Real News podcast show. And I believe tonight's episode is going to be one of the most important shows ever because I'm personally sick and tired of people beating a dead horse about everything going on. Get yourself healthy, so healthy to stay out of the hospitals. You can't eat like crap and expect to be healthy. I'm going to be very, very direct. I'm 56 years young. The incredible doctor on the show tonight, Dr. Christa Krzeminski, part of our Inner Circle medical team that is unleashing the truth. And I want to read a little bit about Dr. Christa before I bring her on the show. And guys, grab a pen that writes, take some notes, get focused, share this episode, learn from it. Make sure you study Dr. Chris's book. She wrote this book years ago. The title says it all. I'm going to share in a second here. So Dr. Christa Krzeminski has a passion for nutrition knowledge and building the strongest body possible. Imagine that one. Strongest body possible started decades ago. She has a bachelor's degree in chemistry, a doctorate in chiropractic medicine, and a fellowship in acupuncture and clinical nutrition. As the owner of a holistic medicine center that literally almost quadrupled in 2020, none of her patients died from COVID. None ended up in a hospital, and she never wore a mask. And as the owner of the Holistic Medicine Center, she designs personalized food, nutrition, and fitness strategies. She also founded Dr. Chris's Secret Signature Recipes, a health-based meal delivery program, and author of a best-selling book, 8 Secrets That Will Destroy the Pharmaceutical Companies. Right now, Big Pharma is trying to destroy America. She wrote this book 4 years ago. This book is available on conservativemarketplace.com. conservativemarketplace.com under books. Get a hold of it. Dr. Christa Krzeminski, welcome to what I believe is going to be a life-changing call for people. It's a life-saving call.
Thank you. It absolutely is.
Life-saving show. Excuse me, keep saying call. Life-saving show. So, as we title this, is for you to be so healthy to stay out of the hospital. It's to be so healthy. I want everyone to take a pen that writes and say, today is day one of me being the healthiest ever. Today is day one of me being the healthiest ever. Your body is an amazing machine. So even Chris, even as we open up tonight on the show, just kind of share about that, how you've been in practice for decades and your patients, your goal is to get them healthy as possible and the immune system as strong as possible, correct?
Oh, absolutely. One of the reasons we really decided to write the book 4 years ago is it was really obvious that the pharmaceutical companies weren't there to make you healthy. Yeah, there's a purpose and there's a place for pharmaceuticals and for prescriptions, but overall in general your health is built, and it's built by, your frontline medicine has to be your food, and it's built by what you do, by your lifestyle choices, predominantly by your food. And it's not about drugs. It's not about what pharmaceuticals can you take, because they never get you healthy. They'll just manage a crisis for you, but they're not there to make you healthy. And we're just in a climate right now where if you don't stay out of the hospital, if you don't take care of yourself and make it a point to build your health and to make choices every day to stay out of the hospital, you're going to end up at the mercy of the pharmaceutical companies. It's not a place you want to be.
And it's interesting what you said too, is that your body is built to be strong. Your body's built to have a strong immune system. Because right now everyone's the vax. We know about the vax and all the crap. You could beat a dead. It's horrible. Fauci's a criminal. Right. They suck. They ain't never changing. So they're not going to change. The big pharma is not going to change. No. They're not going to change. So you said something very, very powerful. You said your food should be your frontline. What, Dr. Christa?
Your food must be your frontline medicine.
Guys, no question. Note number one, write that down. Your food, write in first person, my food must be my frontline medicine. Please write that down. My food must be my frontline medicine. Now I'm 56 years young. I'll be 57 in the year 2022. So I'm not some 30, 40-year young kid. My wife and I have traveled the entire country this year, around hundreds and thousands of people. I've never missed a podcast show. I've never been deathly ill because I don't eat like crap.
That's right.
I'm in a ranting mode tonight because it infuriates me to see people eat like crap, pray about it, and expect God's not going to be mocked. So this is going to be a show where we're going to give you secret tips on food. Some of you swallow your ego and listen. You don't like it, get off the show, unfollow me. I care enough about you because there's an active war in this country to kill you, and they're going for the food. So Dr. Chris, let's unpack. So your body, the food you eat actually can strengthen your body. So I know I've had you on the show many times, and you wrote a great report about Dr. Chris exposes oxygen food facts to beat COVID-19 and build a bulletproof immune system. So let's talk about food and oxygen. How food builds oxygen in your body and strength.
Your body needs oxygen, and not, I mean, we think of it obviously in terms of breathing and lungs working, but tissue to stay living, whether it be your liver tissue, your kidney tissue, your leg muscles, whatever, needs oxygen to remain alive. And so we have to get that oxygen in the body. We don't just breathe it in. We have to consume it, whether it be from, we talked about hydration. We've talked about that many times, but also through what foods are you consuming that, number one, that will bring oxygen into the body and allow the body to exchange oxygen and utilize it. But number two, are you eating foods that could actually be prohibiting your body from moving that oxygen around, from being hydrated, from being healthy? So there's two prongs to that. There's one, consuming the right foods, but there's also one, identifying the wrong foods, because those wrong foods are quite possibly, actually not quite possible, they're actually prohibiting the body from absorbing that oxygen, from utilizing that oxygen, and from staying healthy.
So like my buddy Pressy was murdered by the CDC and to put him in the hospital. The first thing they gave him was grilled cheese and a glass of milk. Does grilled cheese and a glass of milk prohibit oxygen from moving in your body?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the worst food groups for you, and food groups that we're talking about, is dairy. I mean, just, we all know this. Everyone's eating ice cream or drank a milkshake, and you have all this mucus that just builds up right here. So just the mucus creating ability of dairy, whether it be ice cream, milk, cottage cheese, regular cheese, that right there is enough to prevent the body from being able to utilize a lot of the oxygen containing nutrients that come into the body. So, there's a whole litany of things behind dairy, but the biggest one that we're talking about now, especially in terms of COVID and staying out of the hospital from COVID, is the mucus producing junk that's in dairy. And that's a big problem for people, especially when we take a look at how much dairy is consumed on a daily basis by the average person. And it's shocking. And that right there, if there's just one thing somebody does, just cut your dairy in half. You cut your chances of having to go into the hospital down quite a bit. So dairy is a very big problem right now.
And that was something you said at the event. Obviously, you're one of the keynote speakers at our We the People Fight Back event. You're going to be first to find out about this. And I believe Dr. Betsy's on. Dr. Betsy's awesome, part of our Inner Circle medical team. We did a great show Sunday night, because this is the week that this crap comes out. The COVID test, which we'll talk a little bit about that later. But March 5th, Saturday, March 5th, Dr. Chris, pencil it down. We're going to do a one-day kind of mini We the People Fight Back event here in West Palm Beach, Florida, featuring you, Dr. Betsy, Bowtie Boy, Ian Ferrari, and myself. I'll actually get to speak at this event, which should be exciting, versus just emceeing and running around like a maniac. And then I'll be bringing in probably one or two other major speakers in the conservative movement. You guys will hear about that Saturday, March 5th, here in West Palm Beach, Florida, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. 2 to 3 lunch included, limited to just 50 patriots. Interested, let us know. Call or text 561-847-3467, 561-847-3467. There's no website up for it yet. I have not emailed out my list yet. When I do, it's only 50 patriots, 11 to 7, 2 to 3 lunch included. Major We the People Fight Back event, mini event here in West Palm Beach County, because I'm just so sick and tired. It's so frustrating, because I love people and I love America and I love God and I love the human body, and I'm tired of it. Today, I just can't take it no more. People are sick for 7, 8, 15 days. What are you eating? What are you ingesting in your body to heal your body? So Dr. Christa, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the food oxygen, like you talk about here. Load up on power-packed food, like foods that can heal your body. All of you right now, write down at the end of the day, what are you eating? Like have a food journal, right, Christa? And then that food goes in your body. In your body, don't care if you're Democratic, Republican, Communist, don't make a difference. I don't care. They really don't care if you're praying in tongues or laying hands on people.
That's right.
Be very direct. Your organs will absorb something. Right, Christa? So let's talk about power-packed foods that will build the immune system, and foods that will increase your oxygen to build that wall.
When you think about, take it back to nature for a second. What provides oxygen in nature are plants. So the more plants you consume, the more oxygen you're going to consume. That's just the cycle of life. Like we're provided oxygen in the earth through plant life. And so consuming, plant life, vegetables, fruits, seeds, grains, things along those lines, you're actually going to consume the components that transmit, transport, that contain oxygen containing pigments. So, I mean, if you kind of keep that in mind and that's kind of weird for some people to take a step back and take a look at really what our food is. But you have to really start approaching and looking at your food. And we said it at the beginning, and we'll say it a million times, food has to be your frontline medicine. You have to start looking at what you consume as the components that actually build your immune system, that build your health. If you don't start looking at what you eat on a regular basis as, does this build my health? Does this build my immune system? Or is it actually standing in the way of my immune system? If you don't start analyzing your food intake like that, you are going to end up, I mean, let's put COVID aside for a second. You're going to end up sick. There are a lot of words, and you and I talk about this a lot. I'm not even afraid of COVID. I don't know why we're so up in arms about COVID. There are so many other things out there right now that should be scaring the living daylights out of people when it comes to their health. And people don't even blink at it. And that's really where your immune system needs to come in. That's where your immune system needs to protect you. So you have to start looking at, and not just a day. Everybody has a day where, a day is a day. If you have to start taking a step back and looking at a week of your food, how do you eat on a consistent basis? Do your breakfast, lunches, and dinners, are they horrible, or are they 80%, 85% pretty good? So we have to start looking at our food differently. It's not just fun in the sun. It's not just drinks at 5. It's not just ice cream because I had a bad day. You have got to start looking at, maybe I really don't feel like having those blueberries right now, but I know that they're good for me, so I'm going to do it. We have to start acting like big boys and girls right now. Otherwise, again, forget about COVID. I mean, COVID will just be there are cancers and heart disease and kidney disease. I saw 3 people in the last 2 weeks that were just recently diagnosed with stage 3 kidney disorders. So we have problems right now in our healthcare.
Chris, let's talk about that. Because they come to you because they know they're going to die under the medical system. Because you wrote this book 4 years ago to get people off pharmaceutical meds. Because meds, right. Nobody gets off. Hey, I've been on high blood pressure pills for 10 years. Just got off them. Nobody gets off them. I mean, that's Chris's whole business model as a doctor, is to weed yourself off meds and get yourself healthy. But something she said, and we're going to give you some serious nuggets tonight. Start a food journal. At the end of your day, write down what you ate, what went through your lips into your body, what you chose to literally put in your mouth. It's your choice, because what you choose to consume will eventually be exposed in your health. And let me tell you 3 things I do every day. And one thing that aggravates me, people go, I drink a lot of water. A lot is not a measurement.
That's right.
A lot is not a measurement, people. Measure your water. I drink 1 gallon of water a day. I wake up in the morning, I have a quart of warm water before I do anything. And then I take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar and 2 tablespoons of organic lemon juice, another 8 ounces of water. Before I even consume a healthy breakfast, I'm having a 1.5 quarts of water combined with apple cider vinegar and lemon juice. Bring it, you COVID crap. Bring it. But if I wake up late, have a cup of coffee with sweet and low, and have an apple fritter and eat like crap and don't sleep, and then I get hit with something, your body breaks down. I made a little joke about apple fritter for somebody. Because your body doesn't outsmart your system. Remember, I'm going to be 57 in the year 2022. I am not like 30 or 40s, and I'm ridiculously healthy because I focus on it, because many of you know my health background. So this is a strong show tonight, right, Christy? It gets infuriating to see people beating a dead horse constantly. So write down your food journal, what you consume. So let's talk about the word breakfast. Most people screw this up. Breakfast stands for break fast. So what is break fast? Thank you, Gregory. And I also see Kathy. Thank you. Remember, Kathy, that for Kathy saying, I'm loving the Purine Appleberry Power Shake. I have one of those every day. Christy, you love that also.
I do like that. Yeah,
that is available on conservativemarketplace.com under health supplements. You'll see the Appleberry Power Shake. I just reordered it for this month today, as a matter of fact. The Appleberry Power Shake is under health supplements. It's a very powerful shake. So, Krista, let's talk about breakfast. The word break fast. How important breakfast is.
I mean, let's talk one more before we move into breakfast really fast. And I want to I want to state this because a lot of people, I think they get confused about immune system and building an immune system. And I have to have this conversation with people all the time. You have to understand that your immune system is constantly working. It's not something that is just flipped on when COVID's in the air. And we've come to believe that an immune system is just kind of like this system that's shut down until a virus or until COVID or until something bad comes along, and then it flips on. Your immune system is constantly protecting you. So you can be the healthiest individual on planet Earth. And if you're breathing air inside or outside, your immune system is engaged. It's engaged in fighting things in the air, things within your own body, your own genetic insufficiencies. So that system inside, it's always fighting for you. It's 24/7 from the time you breathe until that first breath you take until the last breath you take. Your immune system is engaged constantly. So when we talk about building that, and then we're going to get into what breakfast is, when we talk about building that system, you have to understand you're adding to and having to support and build a system that is constantly working for you. Too many people think that they can do what they want, and then if they are around somebody who's sick, they'll take apple cider vinegar really quick, or they'll eat like a quart of strawberries. You have to understand, by the time you get there, if your immune system is so overworked and so overtaxed, you're not going to have time or an ability to actually do anything. So understand that your immune system is not something that is shut on and shut off. It's something that's constantly working for you. But there's also the ability, and back to why we wrote the book, your immune system is something that can definitely be built, be augmented, be supported, be enhanced, be bolstered wherever you are, and no matter what disease you have. You can be as sick can be. And you and I have talked about many stories of people who have come back literally from the brink with food, with nutrition.
And that's one thing you have. You have many patient testimonies. And thank you, Suzanne. Suzanne says, thank you, Mr. Di Lemme, for this important information, caring enough to do the podcast show. And it's true, Suzanne. I do care enough to challenge all. I believe all of you can be a rock solid health. All of you can be prescription free. I mean, Absolutely. You don't have to live on meds. I mean, and I'm at a point now, I'm done. I'm sick of the comment. It gets me sick to hear it. I mean, I got out of like 10 Telegram groups today. I'm tired of hearing about the crap. And they're not talking about any solutions. There's no it's all problem. We know Fauci's an idiot. I mean, you have beagles. You love beagles. You just rescued a new beagle, right?
We did, yes.
So you love beagles, and Fauci does experiments on beagles. The guy's a nut job. Transgender monkeys. He's a freak show. He's demonic. We know that. So this podcast show is very important. What Chris is saying, you build your immune system, and guys, take this as a personal journey. Don't ask the person to the left or the person to the right. Ask yourself, how healthy do you want to be? I mean, read Christa's book, study it. This wasn't written. There's so many wannabe doctors who just came on board in this COVID stuff. Nobody knew who they were. I turned down more doctors. We focus on Dr. Betsy and Dr. Christa. Betsy's been it's 20 plus years a medical doctor. 20 plus years you're out there, a holistic practitioner, saving people constantly. People, I wrote a book 6 months ago on COVID. What were you doing 6 months ago? Smoking pot, drinking weed, eating like crap, and now you're a COVID expert. Go screw yourself. It's just a fact. I'm in a right, Christy. I'm in a ranting mode today because I see a lot of people getting taken up from grifters, and your health is not something you play with.
No.
But people are pumping crappy supplements. They're packaging crap and selling it for a ridiculous amount of money.
Very true.
It's so important. So let me calm down a little bit. So, Chris, to continue, like you have someone that came to you today, like you said, stage 3 kidney disease. There's nowhere else to go. So what's the first thing you do with them? Like what do you do? Like you obviously look, hey, what are you consuming food wise, right? Like what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, we go over. It goes like this. I mean, the pyramid and the foundation goes like this. Food is a foundation. Food is a frontline medicine. That's the foundation. Everything has to be built on top of that. Hydration is next to that, or equivalent to that. And then medication is crisis management. So people need to understand, and a lot of times people end up with me or my office as a last resort. They don't know what to do. Yeah, they first of all, I mean, I don't know what's going on, and Dr. Betsy and I have had conversations about this. I don't know what's going on with doctors. I mean, people are calling doctors and needing, this woman who actually came in this week with this kidney issue, can't get a follow-up appointment with the specialist who told her, she's on death's door for 4 weeks. So I mean, access to medicine and access to information right now, either you're getting the wrong information on crazy websites, or doctors don't even want to see patients anymore because they just don't know what to do. So they end up with me. So yeah, we talk about food's a foundation, hydration's a foundation, medicine's crisis management. The first thing somebody with stage 3, stage 4 kidney disease has to do is eliminate all animal protein and dairy immediately. And in doing that, the filtration mechanisms of their kidneys will actually just take a breath. They'll actually be able to just simply function a little bit. So that's something we work on immediately. We work on just completely removing that. And the question is like, well, then what am I supposed to eat? And that's really where, when they're sitting in front of me, what we go over. What should I do? What should I have for breakfast? What should I do for lunch? How often should I eat? So those are things that we go over. But that for these particular patients, it's not even a question. If they want to stay off of dialysis, that's how aggressive we have to start.
And you're confident enough that the body will repair and heal itself and starts immediately as soon as you make an immediate change. Like if you're driving, smacking a guardrail, and you turn the rail a little bit, you stop hitting the guardrail. I mean, once you make a small change, correct, Christa?
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it's so important. So, water. You talk about hydration. And everybody talks about hydration. But what do you suggest people to drink water? Why? All of you. I hear all of you. I drink water, not sipping on a little baby sip, a little bottle you open up from Publix and beam, and you drink it and you put it to measure your water. Correct, Christa? Aggravates me.
Measure your water.
Yeah.
Measure your water. There's no reason not to. There's enough quart bottles out there. If you love half-gallon jugs or gallon jugs, whatever you want to do. If you want to fill a gallon jug up and pour it out of that, if you want to just keep refilling your quart bottle, but yeah, you have to, a little bit, or I think I do 3 or 4 bottles. You have to know what that equates to in ounces, or what that measurement is, because you may be shocked to find out you don't drink even nearly enough. And I have that conversation with people. They think they drink a lot, but they drink 3 small bottles. That's not a lot. That's not even nearly half of what they should be drinking, and yet they feel it's a lot. So you have to measure your water. Without hydration, you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, you're not. Food will make up for it in some respects, because there's a lot of water in food. I have my clients eat a lot of fruit in the morning, and that really assists with hydration, especially people who aren't used to drinking a lot of water. But if you're not going to consume, and water's water, it's not coffee, it's not beer, it's not soda, it's not V8, it's water. And you have to get used to it. There's no such thing as not liking water. But if you don't do that, your body will struggle. Your heart will struggle. Your kidneys will struggle. Your gut will struggle. Your brain will certainly struggle. So you have to consume water. If you're not going to, then health probably isn't. Obtaining a great level of health without hydration is impossible. You have to drink water.
And it's so important, because I made a note. Water is like Wi-Fi. We have these great podcast shows. I've done hundreds of thousands. I have Candace Taylor on tomorrow night running for the governor of Georgia. We had Christine last night, Monday night, running for school board over in Lee County, which they pulled
Awesome.
a real move tonight in Lee County, by the way. And you guys wait to get the update. Sunday night I had Dr. Betsy on about the test. But let's say I didn't have Wi-Fi. Everything's set up. The ability to record, everything's set, ready to go. All the notes for the show. But if I don't have Wi-Fi, I can't get online.
Right.
If you don't, all of you listening right now, if there's one thing, you know what, Di Lemme, I can't stand you tonight. You're almost like screaming at me, because I care about you. If I didn't care, eat like crap, smoke, drink, party, I don't care. Then take ivermectin and see what happens. I mean, that gets the point. That works. But my whole goal is not to get there.
Right.
Like you said earlier, COVID's the least of concerns right now.
It should be.
The average guy that's 55 is usually has 1, if not all 3: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and sleep apnea. They usually have one, if not all 3 of those. They're on one of those 3 meds. Correct, Christa?
That's right.
And high blood pressure or diabetes type 2, it's all food. High blood pressure and diabetes is all food. It's not generational problem. It's a refrigerator problem. If you live with me, if you're a guy that's 56 and you have high blood pressure, 30 days you'll be off your meds in my house. Now, my wife might get mad. I'm sleeping with you also, but that's right, Christy? But let's be factual. If you consume, because you didn't make your body, God did. Now, when I say that wakes people up. If you were in our home, you wouldn't have any different choices. You'd eat tons. I eat tons of food. So I get enthusiastic about this, because I believe people can make a change. So all of you tonight, make a decision. Drink a half a gallon of water. And I'm going to repeat this 1 million times. Conservativemarketplace.com. Conservativemarketplace.com. That's our store. On there, you'll see books. On the books, you'll see Dr. Christa's book. I suggest to get a hold of this. The top 8 secrets that will destroy the pharmaceutical companies, written close to 4 years ago. She's not a COVID wannabe. She just didn't pop on the scene 6 months ago. And it says COVID, celebrity status, and in marketing crop book and crop supplements. I'm sick of it. I am so tired of it. There's recipes in here: cucumber, avocado, tomato salad, black bean and corn salad, spinach and beet soup. These black bean burgers are friggin' phenomenal. The mango slaw with cashews, tomato and bean wrap, peanut butter cookies, teenage tested, Dr. Christa approved, yummy desserts. Oh, I don't know what to eat. Banana and blueberry bread. In the books, loaded with recipes, conservativemarketplace.com, on the books, Dr. Chris's book. And also, I want to recognize someone today. They made a great purchase today. I want to recognize Dana from South Carolina. She grabbed a hold of your book, Dr. Christa, along with my 365 affirmations to absolutely guarantee record-breaking yearbook. She purchased this today in the marketplace. And you read this book every day for almost 7 years, right?
I do. Look at this, John. You're going to be amazed. Look at this. I have it right here.
Book right there. So beat up, right?
It's a mess.
The book's a mess.
And John, Benito just brought up a great question. He's asking about alkaline water, but you can answer that question. But that's one thing we see a lot of people are so, nervous about what kind of water.
Just drink it to start with.
45 kinds of water. So
Benito.
can you answer that?
Yeah. So Christa asked about that. Well, once again, Dana from South Carolina, congratulations on making a great decision to grab a hold of Chris's book and my book. And so continue. So Christa, alkaline water. To me, it's if people are not drinking at least a half a gallon of water, I don't care if it's alkaline water. Start with a half. Get Christa.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. You have to start where you are. If you're somebody who is not drinking any water and your day is coffee and Coke and then maybe beer at night, you need to at least get 1 or 2 glasses of water in their day. So you have to start with water. And you have to work your way up from wherever you are, getting to that 1 quart, 2 quarts, 3 quarts, 4 quarts amount. So, and it's a process, step by step, sip by sip. So start where you are, start putting a little bit in, and know what your ideal is. It may take you a couple months to get there, but if you're not, you have to drink water. Let's just make that clear. No matter where you are, you have to drink water. If you have to cut back on something, replace if you drink 5 Cokes in a day, replace 3 of them with water and drink 2. So that's somewhere we have to start. Alkaline water, it's just, I think it's really a top heavy question, meaning, all right, is alkalinity obviously ideal for the body? And cancers don't grow in an alkaline environment and disease doesn't happen yes. Is all tap water great for the body? I guess on some levels, no. However, what you have at your disposal, you need to use. You can't say, I don't know how to go get alkaline water or it's too expensive for me to buy. I'll just stick with the 99-cent Fanta that I got on sale. That's not an option. So alkaline water, that's something that I will be honest, I have some people who are very ill, who are very sick, who are battling some significant diseases. I've walked them down a path of investing in a water filtration system because we are that specific with what they're doing. That may not be you right now, and that you can't let that stop you. So is alkaline water great? Alkalinity in the body is great. However, to also change the alkalinity of the body, we're also going to remove some things like dairy and some of those other things that you shouldn't be eating, like sugar and all this other stuff. That also improves the alkalinity in the body. So we've got a little bit of a balance there. I get that question a lot. I think people let that be an excuse sometimes, and sometimes too often, of not drinking water. So yes, if the question were just, hey, is alkaline water great? Yes, it's great. But that's also, you cannot let that stop you from increasing your water consumption. If you have a direct question on that, people know how to find me through the book and through other things, but let's just say we have to start with the basics, which is let's start drinking water
and measure it too, guys. I talk about measure because the word a lot is not ounces.
No,
it's very important because we're at a point right now. They want to kill you. The communists want to kill you. They're trying to. That's why they're driving. That's why they're driving the food prices up so much. People will then buy fast food, frozen, processed food, eating that, and then drinking sports drinks and Gatorades, which you talk about in your book years ago, Gatorades and sports drinks and the Red Bull and Monster drinks. And then it's just a recipe for disaster. It's just a recipe. And I thank all of you that are listening. We've been going for 30 minutes straight. Thank all of you listening and sharing. We're massively censored. So those of you doing a live broadcast, we appreciate you sharing on however you're watching this. I want to make sure all of you, our Cloud Hub is exploding. So make sure all of you that are listening right now, definitely subscribe to Cloud Hub, CLOUTHUB, cloudhub.com. When you go there, it says search CBJ Real News, follow us, and subscribe to our channel. So once we go live, you get notified immediately on your smartphone or your desktop, and then you can watch the shows, and then the replays are available right away. Same for Rumble. Rumble doesn't notify you, but our channel is CBJ Real News on Rumble. And then also on Telegram, our channel is CBJ Real News. But this is such an important show. And obviously the smartphone app on Google Play Store, Apple Store, search out our podcast app for years is Conservative Business Journal. Conservative Business Journal. Subscribe. It's free. Search on there. Dr. Chris's last name, Krzeminski. Just go for first three letters that comes up. KRZ, right, Christa?
That's right.
KRZ comes up, then hit search and share. And this is why we do what we do. Todd Kinlaw, love you, my brother. You and your wife, Heather, right here. Here's what he says. I'm at 128 ounces a minimum per day after hearing us speak in Naples. Some days I get 160 ounces. Todd, congratulations, my brother.
That's awesome.
That's huge.
That is huge.
That's why we do what we do. That right there, because God created, because you and your wife, Heather, are great people. Just true American patriots, and you know, and now your body starts to hydrate. I mean, your muscles gets dehydrated, especially when people in the cold weather, the heat inside. I mean, how awesome is that? What goes through your mind? In the last 9 days, he's increased, because the event was only 9 days ago. It feels like it was like 2 years ago, but it was only 9 days ago. How important is that this young man Todd now is now starting to consume that amount of water for his body, for his organs and his kidneys and his liver and his heart muscle and his brain and all the functions of the body?
It's amazing. I mean, it adds years, and it's amazing how many diseases that in and of itself will just ward off. And so again, that we're back to where we started with talking about what, this being the foundation to preventing disease, to giving your body the ability to fight off something without really bringing it, having it manifest in yourself at all. So, I mean, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, and even just increasing, we talk a lot, especially at the event, we talked a lot about what we're doing as patriots and how we're getting out there, and how we all have a role to play in, in our world right now. You can't do that if you're sick. So you have to get yourself as strong and as healthy as possible to live your best life, to live your best life for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, for your business, to build a business, to support other businesses. You can't do that without health. You can't do that pulling around an oxygen tank. You can't do that, if you can't sleep at night because, your body is just shutting down. So, I mean, that's, just get 160 ounces of water a day gives that man and that family clarity and ability and strength to just function at their optimal every day. It's awesome.
And it's something I should talk about too, guys. That's awesome, Todd. Congratulations, my man. He's measuring it too. He's measuring it. And people go, well, I go to the bathroom a lot. The reason why you go to the bathroom, your body's cleaning out, it's functioning. You're gonna have more bowel movements because your body's moving. I mean, the number one C word right now is colon. C word. Remember, I don't say the word CANCER. I don't glorify that, because all the toxins and chemicals just built up in the body, and it's just destroying the body, and it's just the disease is eating it. So, but something you said at the event, Dr. Chris, is very powerful when you spoke. Make sure all of you, her presentation is available. From the event, it was a phenomenal look. It changed Todd's life. Make sure you listen to her presentation. It's available on a podcast app. It's available on conservativebusinessjournal.com. Click on podcast, library of episodes. Krzeminski, listen to it. It says January 2022, We the People Fight Back event. Listen to Christa's presentation. It is so important. You talk about live food. Like let's talk about it. When you eat something that's food that's live versus dead food. Now, I had to learn this. Remember, some of you saw the pictures of over the weekend where Dr. Betsy made fun of me respectfully, which is great. Because look, I was 240 pounds. I was enormous. I was doing everything wrong. I was waking up and eating I was a bodybuilding weightlifting guy, which I still do this. I was eating a dozen eggs in the morning. I was eating protein shakes, no carb, nothing. Complete opposite of what I'm doing now. My blood work was a mess. I had every ache and pain. I had headaches. I had rotary cuff hurt, neck hurt. I could have took all the scripts under the sun. Didn't make a difference because the core was screwed up. So let's talk about live food, which is oxygen. So give us some examples of live food.
I mean, live food is it's pretty simple. It's what God put on the earth. Did it come? Was it able to be picked out of a tree or off of a vine, or did the ground produce it, or did a factory produce it? And that's pretty much the difference. If you're eating the majority of your foods out of a box, or that were prefabricated and frozen and thrown in a container and sold to you, or, whether cereal or, potato chips or things like that, if they've been processed, if they're put in a bag or a box and you're buying things like that, and that's the bulk of your diet, you're not eating live food. Live food is pretty much your produce section. And if you look, it's like that is where the majority of your shopping should come in. Nuts, seeds, fruits, vegetables, grains, potatoes, squash, all these great things. That's live food. That was food that was actually once living. It grew from a seed, it grew out of the ground, it grew from a tree, it grew off a vine. It's a fruit, it's a vegetable. That it was once living. That's live food. And so it contains oxygen, it contains nutrients, it contains enzymes, it contains all of these things that the body needs to actually function and to actually heal. And that is live food. There's a huge difference between, live food or food that was actually found or that's sold to you in a box.
And that's Crystal too. All of you, and Kathy Fredericks, you're awesome, Kathy. Kathy just picked up Dr. Chris's book, which is very powerful. Kathy,
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Kathy's awesome. And you'll see, Kathy, when you get the book, chapter 7 is a must read. How would you like to live off pizza, pasta, tacos, and burritos? We spent the last several chapters discussing foods that lead to disease. Now let's move on to some fun stuff. Eating healthy, which arms the body with the vitamins and nutrients needed to destroy disease, is actually incredibly delicious. No starvation, no deprivation on this meal plan. There is so much food available to eat daily, you'll never feel like you are on a diet. In this chapter, you will find a pantry makeover list, as well as some of my favorite quick and easy to make recipes. So let's eat. Let's eat, right, Christa?
That's right.
This book is really good, Christa, isn't it?
It is.
Chapter 7, Fauci hates. Chapter 7, Moderna, Pfizer, and J&J, the communists, and Bill Gates hates this. Biden, Kamala Harris, the communists, they hate this chapter. Everyone listening, if you don't read chapter 7 and start to understand this, they will get you. This chapter talks about, perishables, talks potatoes, spinach, lemons, sweet potatoes, veggie burgers, avocados, corn. There's so much food to eat. Non-perishables, brown rice, quinoa, rice pasta, ketchup, mustard. There's so many foods to eat. Some of you get I eat so much food. I eat constantly.
That's right.
Because our body's amazing. Now, look, so let's talk about that, Krista. Once again, when we talk about the oxygen and you build a bulletproof immune system. So when all of a sudden a virus, something hits your body, like a virus comes in, what does it mean? We say to have your immune system strong. So how does it fight off and ward off and fight off the sickness? Like, obviously, my wife and I have been around. We traveled to 9 states. I spoke at an enormous amount of events. I spoke to Cindy today. I spoke at the Martin County Tea Party. I spoke to Lamar. I spoke at the Republican Party in Vero Beach. I was in South Carolina, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, everywhere. And I sweated to hug people. And I'm alive. And we had an event 9 days ago with 200 people. The super spread is a bunch of crap. But if you eat like crap, you don't sleep. And something comes in, which they're doing. They're setting this up. So talk about, you build your immune system and something comes along, like we're saying, you build so strong that you can stay out of the hospital. How does that happen? And how does the body do that?
Yeah, we touched on it a little while ago about the immune system is constantly working. So there's always something it has to deal with. So the less you give it to deal with, the better off you'll be. And what I don't mean lock yourself in a bubble or just sit in the bathtub and hope, wait for Jesus to come. What you need to do is just make sure that you're not dealing with things, chronic conditions. You're not overweight. You're not dealing with chronic kidney issues. You're not dealing with gut issues. You're not, women dealing with thyroid issues because you're 25 pounds overweight and your poor thyroid can't function anymore. The less you give your
time out. That's what, and you can say this because you address this. I address it, I'll get killed. All the women say, but Dr. Chris, I have a thyroid issue. Please dig into that. Because you talk about it in your book. So
I do. I've had the pleasure of dealing with many endocrinologists for over the years. I would say one of the more common things people come into me for is hormonal issues, thyroid issues, women who are, and it's I can almost do it with my eyes shut. 20 to 25 pounds overweight between the age of like 38 to 52, 53. Stress, too much stress, unhappy, either divorce, unhappy. Somehow there's a little depression or something in there. And it must be a thyroid issue, right? What can I do can I do acupuncture for thyroid? What should I take for my thyroid? And it's not, I mean, everyone blames the poor thyroid. The thyroid is just simply trying to do its job, but you're not giving it enough to do its job with.
Blames the poor thyroid. It's the best. The poor thyroid gets the crap beat out of it.
It really, you feel horrible for it, because it really does. You're not giving it the nutrition and the foundational stuff that it needs to function. It has a tough job. It's like the conductor of an orchestra. It's got to keep a lot of things moving. So when you actually spend, and this always alarms people when I say this, and I'm sure there are people who are kind of crossing their arms right now and they put down their pen and they're frowning at me. But when you take a look back at some of the bad habits you have, and what I mean by bad habits, not drinking enough water, not eating enough fruits and vegetables, eating too many saturated fats, not exercising, not sleeping, all of those things. When you stop and take a look at that, many people are literally shocked. And I literally see people come to tears in my office every week on this, that you've been doing that for over a decade. It's not like this happened last week. So some people have spent 20 years doing the wrong thing, sometimes longer, just doing the wrong thing day after day after day, little by little by little. And then I must have a thyroid problem. You don't have a thyroid problem. You have a horrible nutrition problem. Your body it's getting to the point where you've built up so much toxicity inside of it. There's so many things that the immune system and the thyroid have to try to fight against and deal with and manage. It can't do it based on the stuff that you're giving it. It's like trying to pay your bills and knowing you're going to be $500 short every month, but you still try to, you don't do anything to kind of make up that deficit. That's what you do to the body when you don't put in the right nutrition. So I get a lot of people that come in where they get booted out of an office by an endocrinologist and they're like, they don't know what to do. And I said, well, let's just simply start by the first thing we remove saturated fat, we increase hydration, we do some basic stuff. And usually within 6 months or so, they've definitely seen some movement in their thyroid. But it's not the poor thyroid. Don't give the thyroid a break.
Because the other way is, you wrote your book, the other way is you go to a med doctor, they just switch on pharmaceuticals.
They do. And especially with the thyroid, most people are told Synthroid is for life. And it's not. I mean, unless I know there's some people out there, maybe you don't have a thyroid anymore, maybe that was removed for whatever reason, you're in another category. But for most women, 9 out of 10 women, this syndrome starts right after they've had children. And it just spirals out of control over 15 or 20 years. And then they're told they need Synthroid for life. And that's not true. Because then they end up winding their way into heart disease, and they end up winding their way into significant heart disease, and usually type 2 diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, and it's all nutrition, all of it,
How much is it?
All of it.
Well, guys, look,
every last bit of it.
Because some of you guys, especially you guys that live on social media, there's no conversation about healing the body. We know Fauci sucks. We know to rip people off. The vax is a bioweapon. It sucks. The shedding's brutal. We know that. They can come out every day with another report. We know that. What are you personally doing on this journey to be the biggest enemy against those schmucks?
That's right.
I'm 56. I am not 36. I call someone that's early 40s as a kid. I was 17, 18. I was driving. He was just born. So was he a kid, right, Christy? He's a kid. I'm 56. I work out every day. Do 5,000 meters every day. I work out. How big is that cup, by the way, Christy, you're drinking from?
It's big.
It's awesome.
Connie said that this is the doctor that has the baseball son at the conference, loved her talk, had to go out and get some grapes after it because a gallon of water is a lot to her. So that's one thing Krista said.
Connie's awesome. Connie, Connie, they remember your good-looking son, Cameron, right? Yeah, that's right. With the son and her mom, and your mom also won the auction for Jesus Praying for Martha. We have a
Larry from Estero said great show. Also 45 Audrey is on watching on Clubhouse.
That's all, guys. I'm glad you guys are moving on. That's all come from Cloud Hub. The comments. That's great. You guys moving over to Cloud Hub. I'm excited about that.
Good.
And guys, look, we love you so much. Just make small changes. What we began to show it. Journal at the end of your day. Ask yourself, what did I do for my family? What did I do to keep myself healthy? And your body is amazing. God made it.
It is.
Modernity didn't make it. Go ahead, Krista. Dr. Krista.
Yeah, let me tell you a story about how amazing the body is. And I think about this story a lot because it was one that was very personal to me, and it really exemplifies the meaning of just starts somewhere, and how every little bit starts somewhere, and how the body can repair itself. I had a patient it was about 12 years ago. I had known him and his wife I've known them actually now at this point close to 20 years, but it was about 12 years ago. His wife called me. He had colon cancer, and he had battled it for a while, and he was in chemo, and she called me crying, can she just bring him in? Brings him in. He's in a wheelchair. He's slumped over. She had a nurse with her. He barely can sit up and hold himself up. And, she said the oncologist just put an end to chemo, that they told him they can't help him anymore, to go home. He was done. That was it. He was too weak to continue. And that, they pretty much just said, go home. So she said she didn't know what to do. Could we just do some acupuncture? Could we do something? If he could just eat, he can't even drink. He was a mess. I mean, he was really at a point where if he were home, he would just be laying in a bed, not able to, he couldn't do anything for himself. So he kind of kept talking to her and he kept asking his wife for something. And I asked her, I said, what is he asking you for? And she said, he wants strawberries. And I said, well, go get him strawberries. And she said, this is the point. This isn't the point of this isn't the point of the story, but it was one of those points of stupidity where you just, you want to bang your head against the wall. She said, it's funny. The nurses told us a while ago to not let him have any fruit because there could be mold on it and it could kill him because the chemo broke his immune system. And I said, well, he's got nothing to lose at this point. If he wants strawberries, go right now, go immediately. We'll take care of him. Let's see what we can do for him and with him and how we can make him more comfortable. And while I'm working, you run across the street to Publix and grab the man some strawberries. So she did. He came back a couple times. He was literally, he had been sent home to die. And, I get a call from her 2 weeks later that he was feeling better, that he went from just a couple strawberries. I told her, take the strawberries home and just blend them, let him drink them through a straw, just
Awesome.
one sip at a time. He had worked his way up to the point where he was drinking like 3 cupfuls of strawberries a day. I don't know why strawberries, but the man wanted strawberries. So we went from strawberries to they just kept growing strawberries. They added bananas. The man just started making a fruit smoothie essentially. Within 30 days, he was back sitting up, walking, moving, functioning. And within 2 months, he was back to moving around, going to the store, functioning again. He walked back into the oncologist's office to actually question a bill they sent him. And they almost fell over. But I tell you that story to really emphasize the point of literally he was sent home to die. And he just wanted strawberries. And we started that journey back with strawberries. Just he did nothing but for 2 days, but sip through a straw, 2 or 3 sips at a time of strawberries that were blended in water. That's where we started. And he went on to live. I mean, he recovered, the body got better. He went on 11 more years living full, traveling, doing what he wanted to do. He and his wife built a foundation, and he ended up at 80, it was 82. He passed away last year. He passed away of a heart attack. So he came out, he beat colon cancer after they wrote him off as dead. 11 years, lived a very healthy, productive life, playing golf, playing tennis. But we started with strawberries. And that's how strong the body is.
Right.
So he overcame chemo, which destroyed the immune system, built his immune system back up, and went on to live a very healthy, productive, happy, additional 11 years. So when somebody sits there and kind of rolls their eyes at me and says, like, I don't really think changing the way I eat can influence my thyroid. I mean, it can take a man out of a wheelchair who is sent home to die to go on to travel the world with his grandchildren. So, I mean, that's how strong your body and your immune system is. And that's how much it responds to what you do to it right. And that's, so everybody that crossed their arms and rolled their eyes, like, uncross your arms, pick up your pen back, and start even with strawberries if that's where you want to start. But start with somewhere. Food is that powerful. It is that powerful.
I mean, food is, like you said, food's your frontline medicine. And you guys start journaling. Like, one thing you said at the We People Fight Back event, and just start today making small changes. I mean, small adjustments, a little bit at a time, adds up.
That's
right.
I
remember when I first got opened up to this whole live food, plant-based world, I was completely on the other side. But then I couldn't reject the real testimonials and the stories in the I mean, I'm stronger today at 56 than I was when I was 36. I'm stronger today than I was back then. It's because your human body is amazing. And something else that you speak about too, and and we'll talk, and this is available because you hear this all over all of the COVID talks and all the stuff going on, is quercetin. It's not just for COVID, it's the ultimate overall health shield. And that's available, once again, conservativemarketplace.com, or on a main site, conservativebusinessjournal.com, click on store, and it goes out to a marketplace. And you actually wrote an article, it was published in a journal, quercetin, not just for COVID, it's the ultimate overall health shield. And like Dr. Betsy said the other evening, is now it's being labeled like you could take in a crisis situation, you could take enough quercetin, it actually mirrors to the body what hydroxychloroquine can do. So tell everyone, quercetin, like you said, quercetin is now famous thanks for the insanity of COVID-19. Quercetin is now a household name. It's an absolute essential when it comes to protecting, preventing, and destroying an active COVID-19 infection. Regardless of the variant, I will bet you didn't know quercetin has been crushing it in the health world for decades. Quercetin is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients in the plant kingdom, especially for the cardiovascular system. Not too many other antioxidants can match the power of quercetin. This is an article that Dr. Christa wrote, and you guys interested in getting this article, let us know. Call or text us at 561-847-3467, 561-847-3467. Just ask for the Dr. Chris's article and just put Q. That's good. Dr. Chris is part of Q. Q drop. Q drop. Quercetin. Q drop. And we'll send it to you along with the oxygen report. But for Christa, share about quercetin, Christa.Christa, which is available, guys. Once again, conservativemarketplace.com under health supplements. You want to have this in your counter, as we say, on your counter.
You do. I mean, at the very least, you should have it. You know, we talked last show and we talked at the event about just kind of having a preparation, being prepared in case COVID or some other, variant or whatever comes along. You should have your essentials that if you do become ill, that you can reach to and go to and take immediately. So quercetin is one of those. But it also should be, depending on like what your health status is and what's going on, it's something I recommend to a lot of people. It's a great anti-inflammatory and it's a great antihistamine. It's found everywhere in the plant kingdom. It's not uncommon. It's found in high concentrations in red apples, red grapes, cherries, tomatoes. You kind of get the red theme going on a little bit. Pistachios are a nut that have a lot of quercetin in them. So it's a really powerful, it's a bioflavonoid. So what it does is it actually reduces oxidative damage in the body, or oxidative damage actually in plants also. But it reduces some of that oxidative stress and oxidative damage in the body. But it's found everywhere. I mean, it's a really important bioflavonoid. It's water soluble. So this is another, we talked about water, not to get too technical. And of course, I love this part of it because I love the chemistry part of it. But when something's water soluble, you need some hydration in the body to make sure that, water soluble things can actually be carried from point A to point B. So that's another reason to make sure that you're well hydrated. Your supplements actually work a lot better because they can actually be transported. Between tissue or from the gut through the gut lining to the kidneys to this, that, and the other thing. So that is another reason for you to make sure that you not only eat a lot of the fruits and vegetables that contain these things, but also to make sure that you're hydrated. But quercetin it's been around for a long time. I've used it for a long time. I've used it for a lot of people with allergies. It's a great antihistamine. It's great to add to people who have asthma. It helps them a lot of times reduce their use of rescue inhalers. So it's a really strong supplement. That it's kind of gained a lot of attention with the whole COVID thing, but it's a really powerful.
Once again, you had this in your office before the fake scam.
Correct.
I want to say it again, guys. Pay attention here. She had this in her office before the fake scam.
Correct.
So it is so important, guys. You can go to conservativemarketplace.com under health supplements categories under H for health supplements. Under H for health supplements, and you will see it there. And once again, Christa had this in, Dr. Christa had it in practice prior to the COVID scenario, because you see a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon. This is very important to take a look at someone's track record. That's why this book is a must read. Study it. There's recipes in here. People go, I don't know what to eat, how to do it, and it is so important. I mean, this is so good. Your stomach soother and the peanut butter and chocolate dream. This is one of my favorite post-run drinks. It is filling and great after a long workout or on your way to work, guys. This is so many. Christa, and my wife Christa, you made this the other night, the pasta, bean, and tomato stew. Yes, actually, last night.
When it's cool.
Yeah, when it's cool. When it's cool, 61 in South Florida. Everyone around the country is like, oh my God, it's 61. Who cares? But it's, guys, this is why we're doing this show tonight, because you got to be so healthy that you don't have to be concerned about the hospital. Like, they're going to kill you. The hospitals are killing fields right now. So it's so important. And once again, journal your food. Quercetin is a must own. And once again, conservativemarketplace.com, health supplements, and you'll see it there. And Christa was marketing this before COVID, because it's definitely a staple. And now they're saying that you actually load up on the amount of it, that it actually replicates potentially what for the viral infection for COVID. Explain that, how it works for just the viral when you load it up that much, when you take a certain amount.
You're talking about how it will mirror sometimes some of the ability that hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah. Yep.
It does a couple things. First of all, again, we're back to its anti-inflammatory. We're back to its anti-inflammatory powers. So it has that ability to reduce inflammation, and it has that ability to not allow the immune system to launch into some of the cytokine bursts and some of the inflammatory responses that it initiates. It helps stop those before it starts. It also does help. I mean, let's face it, it's good food for the immune system, meaning that it helps the body produce white blood cells. It helps the body kind of nourish it and make sure that it has the right lymphocytes coming out. But what it does mostly, and in higher amounts, they're starting to find out, which they kind of already knew about this, but they're starting to compare it obviously to some other drugs out there, is it does help keep the inflammatory response. The body mounts an inflammatory response to try to fight something. And when that inflammatory response gets out of control, you get into some trouble with that. And that was one of the initial problems with when this initial burst of COVID came out on the scene. What we're finding, what we see with quercetin in really high doses, and you have to be, you watch, you don't do real high doses for an extended period of time, but you do it for the time that the infection's active, is that it will actually help keep that inflammatory response from the immune system. It'll help keep it under control. So you won't get that massive, that when you start to get too much inflammation, you start to get that huge push, you get to a point where too much of a good thing is turns into a bad thing. And that's what happens with inflammation sometimes in an inflammatory response from COVID. We saw that a lot in that first initial push with COVID, where people were getting, the inflammatory response was injuring the kidneys. It was shutting down kidneys. It was shutting down the heart. So that's where quercetin comes in. It will mirror, it's starting to mirror some of the impact of hydroxychloroquine.
It's awesome, guys. This is why we do what we do. And some of you say, well, John, I couldn't picture being that huge. Well, get ready. I was a fat boy. Look, if you're fat, you're fat. I mean, you have to like, you look at the Navy SEAL. I'm in my zone here tonight.
John, just real quick, I know we try to recommend products. Others are recommending products right now. We can only recommend what we know.
Yeah, I only recommend what's proven. And I recommend what's on conservativemarketplace.com. Yeah, I don't recommend. I only have a handful of doc. Obviously, Dr. Christa and Dr. Betsy. I get hit all the time for the COVID celebrities, and I'm not going to have COVID celebrities on my show because I'm done with all that crap. Because one of them was recommending, if I eat the food he recommended today, I would be fat and sick. Okay, I'll be fat and sick. You could take all the supplements you want. You could take all the ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine you want. If you eat like crap, your body's not, God will not be mocked. No. I mean, it's just a fact. You don't like to hear that? Look, I've been in this game way before these COVID celebrities come on board. I'm very serious about this because we're in an active war in America. And you want to make sure you're people who've been training and prepared. So for those of you that doubt that I was huge, fat, what's my mind's going for a second. The Navy SEAL David Goggins. David Goggins was a 300-pound Navy SEAL, and now he went for 300 pounds. Became a Navy SEAL. Went through Hell Week 3 times, and he's going to be considered the toughest athlete ever in history. You actually did his 48-mile challenge, right, Christa? Where you ran 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
That's right. We're doing it again in March.
I would love to see one of the COVID phenomenon doctors do that. Just one of them. Most of them can't even walk a mile. But
they can join. They can join us.
I'm so done. I'm so done out today. I'm done. when I saw something on Telegram today from someone, I wouldn't recommend what they ate to someone I hated. Because I don't really hate anybody, but they're out there as a doctor.
Yeah.
And you post crap food in your Telegram, but you're recommending it. Are you an idiot? You're just an idiot. And of course, he's, my age, he's mid-50s. He's got the man belly. He's got high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. It's impossible. His body's just responding.
That's right.
So little rant here. I like rant because I care about people. So here's me, fat as could be. As my wife laughs. That's me about 240. Beefcakes. Look at the size of my head. I mean, I was doing the complete opposite of everything you hear tonight. I was doing the complete opposite of what we would. I had no idea until I sat at an event, because right before I met you about 13 years ago, I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and I heard another holistic doctor speak. I'm like, wait a minute. That's completely transformed my thinking. And I started to do some research, and now the transformation began. Now, if I was this big, I'd be sick for 2-3 weeks, feel like crap, COVID out, flu out, this crap, that crap, sniffing, snorting, farting, pooping, crapping, this thing, crap. Oh my God, pray for me, prayer change, been fat. Just a fact, right, Krista?
That's right.
Look, now, John, wow, I told you it's going to be a wild show. I warned you when we started an hour ago. Because I said, I want this show to transform one person, because you can be the example for your family.
That's right.
You can make the decision to start your journey, to say, what'd you do? Well, it was a show on January 18th. Di Lemme kind of pissed me off, but it felt like I was talking to me. And then I got Chris's book. I implemented it, started to make some small changes, and my body responded. And because your health transforms, people go, well, what'd you do? You didn't go on a 30-day cleanse, a 30-day diet, or take one pill and eat nothing and starve and lock yourself in a closet and freak out. No, you got a healthy lifestyle. And then somebody asked too, can you take quercetin every day? You take it every day, right?
You can take quercetin every day.
Yeah. And then, Krista, one more final question tonight before we. The
ones that we recommend.
Yeah, the ones we recommend. Most of the COVID celebrity supplements are crap. They didn't come out until COVID.
That's right.
Look, now who's not going to like that? The manufacturers of the COVID crap.
Right.
It's just a fact.
And, and if you and I talk about this quite often, and I'd say this to people literally every day, don't even waste your money on supplements if you know that you're not eating as well as you should be. And that doesn't mean you have to go from zero to, from where you are to perfection in 24 hours. But if you're not willing to make small changes, don't waste your money on supplements, because they're not going to work for you. You can't you can't take a sick machine and just feed it supplements and expect that's going to cure the problem. Just like medication won't cure that problem, supplements aren't going to cure that problem either. So you have to be willing to make small adjustments, and in making those small adjustments, let your supplements work better. For some people, and I see this all the time, some of the biggest successes in my practice really come from people making changes and getting halfway better, and and maybe reducing their medication, coming out, maybe they're on 4 and they cut it down to 2, and those 2 are half of what they were. That's a huge success. That's 15 years added to somebody's life. Awesome. So you don't have to be, you don't have to be, some, crazy, fitness guru, this, that, and the other thing, eating nothing but, olives every day. But you just have to start where you are. But don't lean on like some people lean on medications, but I also see people trying to lean on supplements and just using it as an excuse not to change what they don't need to change either. So don't do that, because you'll be very disappointed if you think that, quercetin is going to solve your immune system woes, when you know that that you're eating far too much dairy and you're not drinking any water. So, you have to, we started the show. It's a tough one, but it's time to, it's time to be real, and it's time to be honest, because we don't want you in the hospital. We don't want you to be a statistic.
They just released that they'll be distributing free N95 masks. They'll start mailing those out.
They're going to start mailing, governments will start mailing out free N95 masks, and these tests start going out tomorrow. We're in an active war. The reason why I decided to do this show tonight, a very strong one, is because we want you healthy and having. Audrey, you are a brilliant young lady. Audrey said, "You sure were big, but you look good now." Audrey, yes. Audrey, you're awesome. It's just the truth. I mean, guys, I have no issues. I've written 20 books. As Krista talked about the affirmation book I wrote many years ago. I mean, affirmation number 5 is I'm getting healthy by the second. Your body, literally, I said to someone, look, if you live with my wife and I, within 30 days, 95% of your ailments would be gone because the food heals your body. There's nothing in our home that creates diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, nothing. There's nothing in there that will do it. There's nothing in there, and we're packed with food. So I'm saying this tonight because I want someone to listen, and then you supplement. And you take the supplements, like we recommend a lot of Purian supplements or on the health supplements. I mean, obviously the Vax Regret program, the immune building system is a problem with people taking a Vax. But now, they're sending the COVID test out, and you walk by. We did a video the other night from Walmart. Supply chain, 80% of the foods, there's nothing out there. So people are going to the cheaper processed food,
right?
Wearing a mask, eating like crap. They're setting you up for death, but you be the 1%er. You be the person that builds your oxygen, builds your strength, and builds your body, and you don't be concerned about this. Like there's no reason. Like I've never filled a script. I mean, I don't. I'm just. Why not be healthy? Like, why not just every tonight? Why not start declaring health versus? And I talk about this in my first book. It's not like I'm just ranting tonight. This is my first book I wrote 20 years ago. I talk about people affirm I am a diabetic. You keep affirming it. You weren't 2 years old. Hey, look at my little kid. He's got high blood pressure. No, that was accomplished one mistake at a time. And you change that one nutrient at a time, eating the right food. Now, this is a strong show. Most won't address this. And most of the COVID celebrity doctors don't go anywhere near this crap. I mean, and I say that because they're out there ripping people off, and they're out there dealing, and they're really, it's dangerous. It's dangerous what they're doing. I mean, it's dangerous what they're doing.
And John, that's great what you just brought up, because I know Krista gets this. Krista and I have been great friends for over 10 years, and Krista gets this question a lot. So Krista, when someone gets diabetes, are they stuck with that for life? Because I know a lot of people get really depressed thinking, I've got diabetes, there's nothing I can do about it, so why even try? Can you explain that with a different kind of diabetes?
And that's what China did with pre-existing conditions. They created a scandemic. They went after obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Those are pre-existing conditions that are all man-made. Not type 1 diabetes. That's a totally different conversation. Right. The pre-existing conditions, like, you don't think my wife and I were around COVID? Whatever this thing is around people, like around everybody. I mean, let's be realistic. But Christy, answer that question, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, type 1 diabetes obviously there's something wrong with your pancreas and it doesn't produce insulin. That's another story. Yeah, that when we started this whole conversation tonight, we said, that there were medications that people needed for certain things that were unavoidable. That's one of the unavoidable. Most people who are type 2 diabetics, type 2 diabetics is a garbage disease. And what I mean by garbage disease is, number one, it is never a standalone disease. Not one person out there who has the right nutrition, who is fabulously healthy, goes to the doctor and they say, everything looks great except you have type 2 diabetes. Never works that way, ever, 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 ever. Type 2 diabetes is a scavenger, meaning it's the result of a really poor environment inside the body. And that's all it is. It's a result of there being too much damage, too much garbage that occurs between energy that tries to get into a cell and the insulin that tries to carry it. There's garbage there. There's a blocker. And that garbage is an acidic environment and oxidative breakdowns, oxidative junk, inflammation that's there. So when you clean up the environment of the body, you miraculously remove type 2 diabetes. And it's really and truly that simple. It's not overnight, because type 2 diabetes doesn't occur overnight. It usually occurs, especially in women, and it occurs over decades. We're back to the thyroid and the whole craziness. But type 2 diabetes is absolutely 1,000,000% completely reversible with lifestyle choices. Actually, my last patient that I had this evening, right before you and I talked, he actually is somebody who he reversed type 2 diabetes. He lost 95 pounds. He's working out 4 days a week with a trainer. No more sleep apnea, no more insulin. A1C is perfect. And it all came from dropping the dairy, dropping junk food, dropping the drive-through, and he actually started drinking water he drank Dr. Pepper instead of drinking Dr. Pepper. And it took me a year.
That's the patient you saw today.
That was like, yeah, that was actually when I had to call you back really quickly. That was the last patient that was walking out. I mean, great guy. 42 years old.
How old?
42.
42. Now, if you were not his doctor, the rest of his life, he could potentially lose his legs from diabetes. And
he actually, his father lost his legs, and father eventually died from sepsis from type 2 diabetes. I mean,
which,
so
in
that
other
was
words, which you've proven. I didn't even know this. So this is live conversing, which proves there's no such thing as genetic.
No.
Now that really pisses everybody off.
No, there's not. And I'll tell you something. It took me. This guy, and this is another thing. Like this particular gentleman, great man, great guy, really bright, really smart, really successful. It took me a couple years of being on him constantly before he listened to anything. You know, I mean, he was watching his health spiral. He was literally sleeping with a sleep apnea machine. He was watching himself not be able to even be regulated by insulin anymore because his type 2 diabetes was getting so out of control. So it was getting critical. And he was one of the few people who actually used COVID to his advantage, you know, from like just having things slow down. He actually, being in Florida and being in a great place in Florida, he actually found a trainer who was still working. He said, all right, I'm doing this. You know, I'm going to turn it around now. And it took him, like I said, actually, it's been a little bit more than a year. It's been more than a year, but I mean, completely different man.
But I mean,
different man.
In the last year, imagine a year from now, for all of you, make this show, tonight's CBJ Real News podcast show, the show that transforms your life. Start making small decisions. You know, decision today. You know, I ranted earlier today too. I ranted on a little Facebook video and I put on Telegram too. I haven't put it on Cloud Hub yet. I will when the show concludes. But I said, you know, everyone talks about their past. Well, today, January 18th is going to be January 19th's past. So today is tomorrow's past. So people go, well, you don't know my past. Well, I do know your past. When you make a decision today, will change tomorrow. And all of you, especially those who have children and grandchildren, be the example. I mean, you know, Hallie and Steve. If Steve didn't make his lifestyle changes health-wise, he'd be dead. They went after him in COVID. We were on the phone with Dr. Betsy, the patient bill of rights, and getting him the hell out of the hospital.
That's right.
But if he's 81 and healthy, he would have been dead. That's guys, you have to realize this. And now they're going after, they want to kill you. That's what they're going to do in this. But we are their worst enemy. And you know what's interesting too? And I want to do a quick shout out, then we'll wrap this up because this is the power show tonight. This is such an important show for your health. I mean, make your story. You should be prescription free, healthy, strong. You should be the example for your family. Why not?
Why not?
I mean, why not be? Take this to heart, someone listening. Don't give your future an excuse by some doctor's false sense of security about you and these COVID celebrities. Get over them. Because just like there's going to be a celebrity hall of fame, and their packaging such, there's one doctor marketing the supplements is such crap. And she's obese. She's obese marketing COVID supplements. Now, guess who doesn't like that? Her.
Right.
Or the person making the supplements. But I got to answer to the truth. And that's just a fact. And I'm beyond this in my career. I've been in this game a long time. So all I want to do is inspire and motivate all of you to have a commitment and get a hold of Christa's book. Once again, conservativemarketplace.com. Under books, grab a hold of Christa's book. I want to recognize real quick, James Moran. James Awesome came down for the event from Pennsylvania. James grabbed a hold of today, the Fate Stands in Fear on a long sleeve red tee because it's like 45 below zero in Pennsylvania. Get a hold of that. And then John McCoy, who was also at the, and Jim also has 2 tickets on next week to People Fight Back event, correct? And so does John McCoy John McCoy also grabbed the hold of 2 tickets for our VIP ticket special. Plus today grabbed the hold of Jeff Preston's Fighting for America, the President Donald J. Trump portrait by Jeff Preston.
Oh, nice.
Grabbed the hold of that. And then also I recognize Dana, who grabbed the hold of a 365 affirmation book, which all of you need some internal motivation to combat fear, indecision, procrastination, low self-belief, low self-esteem. Anybody have those ailments? It's all belief. You have to start reading the right words. You have to start speaking the right words. And she grabbed a hold of this book. This is some combination. Whew. You get your mind and body right. Bring it, Fauci, you friggin' schmuck. Bring it.
That's right.
Bring it.
That's right.
So she got a hold. So Dana, this is shipping out to you. This should be shipped from Dr. Christa. This should be shipped from Conservative Business Journal and Conservative Marketplace. They also want to recognize Kathy Frederick is awesome. Kathy grabbed the hold of Dr. Christa's book. She also grabbed the hold of the the Face Stands in Fear Run shirt. She's looking awesome.
Josie just also grabbed a hold of Dr. Chris's book.
I'm trying to so Kathy got a hold of the Face Hands of Fear Run long sleeve T-shirt, which is awesome.
Nice.
And then also Josie got a hold. Josie and Kathy's from Pennsylvania, and Josie is from the beautiful state of South Carolina.
Nice.
Having a hold. And I tell you, chapter 7, the recipes in Chris's book, tremendous. And I get excited about this because that's why we're doing a one-day event, by the way, March 5th. We're going to find a location, be in West Palm Beach County, or West Palm Beach. And it'll be Dr. Christa, Dr. Betsy, you're just finding out about it, by the way. Congratulations, call you later about it. We just sent you today. And Dr. Chris is, and what did Dr. Betsy call me? She says, Franz. You know Franz from Saturday Night Live? Dr. Betsy's brilliant. Very nice. Hammer me on the call. Like Dr. Betsy says, drinking my shake now. It's awesome. It's guys, we are in a war. And for all I know the trolls listen to this, and I know they're gonna hammer me on this, but look, I'm not playing games. This is where they want to kill you health-wise. Now they're sending masks out, tests out. You see, they couldn't force the vax mandates to everybody, so they're going to everyone wearing a mask will wear more masks and take more tests, test positive with false positive, and then eat like crap. Set up your body. It's a recipe for fail. It's a recipe for disaster for you.
Right.
Like Betsy said, she can't help people. Dr. Betsy just said, Krista, that she can't help people from a medical perspective if they don't have that foundational health. You know, like she can prescribe the ivermectin and all these things that help them get better, but she really can't help somebody that has gone so far off the edge by just prescribing something.
I mean, you got to eat. I mean, my mom, as you know, you're my mom and dad's doctor, and my mom's heart muscle grew back.
Yeah.
And my mom is like 91 last week. It's outpaced the pacemaker. God is amazing. For those of you, miracle worker, Jehovah Jireh, amen. And then you eat friggin' fried chicken at McDonald's and Diet Pepper and go, I feel like crap. Of course you do.
You should
eat like crap. I mean, this I said this was going to be how to get yourself so healthy to stay out of the hospital. Remember, if everybody had an immune system like Dr. Christa, myself tonight, how many meds you on, Krista?
None.
How many meds are people on in your house?
None.
Same here. Big Pharma hates us.
I got a question from Connie. What does Dr. Christa think of high vitamin C IV infusion that holistic places offer, such as immune boosters?
Did you hear that, Krista?
So
just say it again, Krista, please.
Yeah. So basically, what do you think of going into some of these places and getting the infusions of vitamin C or immune boosters?
Where'd you have lunch before you went there?
That's exactly that's exactly it. I mean, there actually are a couple places around here that are great with the infusions, and they're great. It's a great method of getting high concentrations of really valuable nutrients in the body. It's not going to do you any good if your foundation isn't solid, though. So I'm assuming you're not talking about a condition that you're treating it for, but you're talking about general immunity. And again, like that's not going to build your immunity better than if you were actually trying to take steps to eat properly. And so now imagine what that would do for you, Connie, if you actually, just improve. And I'm not saying I don't know if you eat well or not, but just improve. We always can improve. I'm even in my own household, we're always looking for ways like, what can we, we've been doing too much of this or too little of that. What can we do to improve? You should always be thinking about what little step can I take to improve my body and my health. And that's, and it doesn't have to be earth changing. It doesn't have to be earth shattering. But an infusion still, just like a medication, just like Dr. Betsy just very, very poignantly said, you can prescribe medication all day long. You can do vitamin infusions all day long. But if you don't have the foundation to actually support and utilize that, it's not going to do you a tremendous amount of good.
And it's one thing that is, Dr. Christa has her core competency, small changes today, small improvements, I've been teaching self-development and self-improvement. Improve yourself. Because, look, I've been saying it. This is the week of the war. I didn't know about the mask. Now people were just stupid freaking stalk. They look so stupid.
Last question on my side from someone. Obviously, not everyone, and we understand this, can go out and start running or just hop into the gym, because some people, have gotten to a point in their life that they are morbidly obese or obese. But we've talked about before, I don't believe there's any point that you get to that you can't start getting healthy. And so just to encourage somebody that might not feel comfortable going to the gym or just going out to run, what would you tell them?
Do what you can do. If you're at a point, and I'm glad you brought that up, because especially in what I do, I mean, safety comes first. So if somebody hasn't even exercised a day in their life, I'm not going to tell them to put shoes on and go out and run, but do what you can do. And maybe what you can do today is really and truly walk back and forth to your mailbox 10 times. Maybe that's it. Maybe that is challenging for you. Maybe it has to be 5. But then you just build from there. Then you go from the mailbox to the stop sign, and then from the stop sign to the beginning of the street. You do what you can do. Walking is great. If you're living in a climate, if you're watching this from, I guess we all forget that we live in South Florida. It's, we can be outside all the time. If you live in a climate right now where you can't get outdoors, go to a grocery store, go to the supermarket and just walk around the perimeter once, or go to a mall and walk from point A to point B, but do what you can do. You're never too far off to start. If you're breathing, you can start. And,
Right.
and it's really, if you are breathing, you can start. So start small. And I have people all the time that we really just getting them to walk, back and forth from the office to their car is a challenge. So start where you can start. You can do something. And then from there, you just
and journal it.
And journal it.
This is
I had a woman who actually is really proud of herself. We had to get her to exercise, and she knew that was like a big point for her. That was like one of the big lifestyle changes she had to make that she wasn't making. And so what really got her going, and she thought it was the greatest thing in the world, is she actually puts this huge smiley face on her phone. She does everything work-wise. Her work is on her phone. And she puts this huge smiley face on her phone when she's completed her 30 minutes of walking, is what she's doing now. She's walking for 30 minutes every day. And she puts this big purple smiley face on there. And that's what keeps her on track. But she writes it down. She tracks it. She's accountable to herself. And she looks at her phone and she's got this chain of purple smiley faces. So whatever you have to do, write it, track it, but you have to start where you are. And that's, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people do feel that way. They feel that they're too overweight, or they've never exercised, or they're too old, they're 70 or 75 and you don't have to do anything reckless, and we don't want you to hurt yourself, but you certainly can move your legs from your front door to your mailbox, or from your front door to your stop sign. So
which is oxygen, because half your body's from your hips down, and you're moving the oxygen to your muscle. And I want to congratulate. I want to thank all of you there on Cloud Hub. I'm very proud of you guys. You're moving over. We've had the most comments. We've had the most interaction tonight on Cloud Hub, guys. I mean, we're censored. I have over 100,000 followers on Facebook. You want to show, Christa, last year we had 16,000 people on live. So, they're scared of the truth. So Cloud Hub, guys, I'm so proud of you guys. So move on over, CLOUTHUB, clouthub.com. Search the channel CBJ Real News. Follow us on there. So when we post a new article and news, you get notified. And then subscribe to our channel. When we go live or post a new video, you get notified. And obviously, you can follow us on Rumble at CBJ Real News and Telegram at CBJ Real News. Problem with Rumble is you don't get notified when we go live, but the videos will stay on there. But I want to congratulate Audrey here. Audrey, you're awesome. Excuse me. Yeah, Audrey says, I'm 68 years young. I take apple cider vinegar. I take no prescription drugs. Congratulations.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Free. And she's going to order Dr. Chris's book. Congratulations. And
awesome.
then Brower 57 says, I'm working on improving my diet. Congratulations.
Yep, that's
Connie,
all it is.
Connie, congratulations, Connie. And she says, I've stopped dairy and drinking more water. Congratulations. That's a step forward.
That's right.
It's a step. Your body is an amazing machine. Your mind. I mean, that's even before the event. Like even before I took the stage at the We the People Fight Back event, I had a half a gallon of water. Because how important, as we conclude, I've said that 3 times already. Because I want you guys to be the worst enemy for Fauci.
That's right.
I want you when you wake up, when you put your foot in the ground, you're like, oh my God, they're healthy, strong. They're in the circle of Conservative Business Journal. They're around Dr. Krista. They're around Dr. Betsy. They're listening to the right. They're around Ian. Obviously, Ian is superfood athlete, state champion cyclist. He's the expert with the whole foods, and we recommend the Purine supplements. You see them. You have those in your office, Krista. You recommend those also. Those are in the Conservative Marketplace under health supplements. And we do give you direction with supplements. I mean, especially everyone at the event that met. I see Larry's on. I know you spoke to Ian. You invested in some Purium products. Ian follows up. We want the results. Get yourself, because this show is so timely, because you want to be the worst enemy to them nonsense. But I'm so proud. I love the word improvement.
Yeah.
You know, I drank literally a half a gallon of water before I even went on stage that day. How important is water for thinking and clarity for your brain? And just once again, your brain and heart muscle. How important is that?
I mean, it needs to be hydrated. We all know what hydration means. We all know what flowers and our lawn looks like when they get dried up and they don't have enough water in them. We see plants wilt and we see all that. We know what water does, and it does the same thing to muscles, and it does the same thing to your brain. You know, your brain needs a lot of water. Your heart is a muscle. You know, I tell everybody, we've all gotten cramps in our calves before, you know, whether it be from exercise or at night. And so, I mean, imagine that's your calf muscle, which is really, I mean, it's an important muscle when it comes to walking and running and stuff, but it's not the most important muscle in your body. Your heart is. And so imagine what your poor heart feels like if you're dehydrated, you know, the cramping and just the inability to function the way it should. So hydration is key to having a healthy cardiovascular system. You can take all the supplements you want all day long, and, you know, all the CoQ10 and listen to every other, you know, whatever under the sun about supplements for the heart. If you are not hydrated, your cardiovascular system will not be healthy.
That's right. And guys, once again, see of all Dr. Chris's recommended health supplements at conservativemarketplace.com. Category, go into categories. It says health supplements. It says collections on there, but it's categories on the link on categories, and you go to it and says go to health supplements. Any questions, guys? Call to Texas. I'm gonna recap the show here. So make sure you call the Texas at 561-847-3467, 561-847-3467, or email team, TEAM, team at conservativebusinessjournal.com. These are two major reports. We've done two other shows on just these reports with Dr. Christa, and all of our podcasts are available on the conservativebusinessjournal.com. Click on podcast, library of episodes, under K for Krzeminski. You see all the episodes and a presentation at We the People Fight Back event. And this one right here, the doctor exposes oxygen food facts to beat COVID. This was actually Francine Fosdick. Fran put you on her show about the oxygen report. This oxygen report is just such an important report. You guys should all have this. Print this out. Have it with you. Use it as a bookmark for the book. Chapter 7 recipes. And I guarantee you, between now and next year, transform your entire life.
That's right.
Congratulations.
That's right.
Roy, where's Roy from? Roy, congratulations for getting a hold of Dr. Chris's book. Roy, you're awesome. Michigan.
Ooh,
How cold is it in Michigan? Everyone's Chrissy. My wife's got a face dance fear on a hoodie on. It's 61 degrees, and a shirt underneath. All the Floridians are like, "Oh my God, it's 60 degrees," you know. And then make sure you guys too. For those of you West Palm Beach, Saturday, March 5th, Game On, one-day event featuring Dr. Christa, Dr. Betsy. I'm actually going to get to speak at the event, which would be tremendous. Awesome. I travel around the country speaking other people's. I think I speak at my own event and speaking at the event along with Dr. Betsy, Ian, Dr. Christa, myself, and Lisa and Tommy from Trump's Tuesday Therapy Group, because they're going to be sharing their story, how they built a 700-person group here in Palm Beach County. And I'll be announcing two other surprise guests that we're going to put together. It'll be a great event, limited to just 50 people, 50 Patriots. So guys interested in that, let us know. You call or text once again, 561-847-3467. Such a great show. And something else I want to conclude on, then this will be the final question for you, Kristen. We'll be done. We talk about exercising. You know, this is something, you know, it's in my first book I wrote. There's 96 every day, 15-minute increments. You know, I call it the 1/96th of a day. And if you guys actually, I have this as a sheet. You've seen this, Krista. I give it out. And I'm going to start giving this out on the shows more. For those of you interested to change a habit is a behavior pattern. Right. You know, habit means how one behaves. You know, and you develop habits. So the habit of procrastination, the habit of being busy, the habit of indecision, the habit of not accomplishing things. That's what people have. They're more technology than ever, but they're busy. So in 24 hours, there's 96, guys. Write it down. 96 15-minute increments per day. Means like right now it's 10 o'clock. From 10 to 10:15 is 196. That's 15 minutes. From 10:15 to 10:30 is 2. There's 96 15-minute increments per day. I challenge each and every one of you, starting today, and I have a sheet. Call or text us. I'll get it to you. It's called the 196 of a day habit challenge. Right, Krista? You've seen that, right?
Oh, it's a great sheet. I love it.
Today I got
love it.
super pissed off. And Betsy, wait till I talk to you tonight. I got just super pissed off at the COVID celebrities. I'm done. Right, Christy? I'm done with all the COVID celebrity crap. I'm going back to old school core. I've been in this game teaching for 21 years.
That's right.
I talked about the word cult today on Professor Toto's thing. I talk about cult is the root of culture. I have a culture of loving America, loving standing for the flag. Want to call me in a cult? And guess what? It's culture. I talk about that in one of my books. I've been in this game. So 15 minutes per day. If you guys make a decision every day to walk for 15 minutes per day, just turn the phones off. Just to put your phone on the clock. Now, I did 10,000 steps today. That's not 10,000 steps throughout the whole day. Now, remember the person that said that?
Yeah.
And they gained all the way back and more. And they yelled at me, well, Joe, 10,000 steps. That's a joke.
Yep.
15 minutes per day. Take your sheet and you shut all the technology off. And you get up, you listen to a podcast show. You take your app, you put your Bluetooth in, listen to one of our shows, one of Betsy's shows, all the shows you had. Every speaker at our event is on there right now. Listen to Martha Vila, listen to Alfie Oakes, listen to all the speakers. Karen Kingston, listen to everybody. For 15 minutes every day, also like this. Here you go. This is what Fauci hates. Fauci hates the commitment check. Bam. Day
That's
1,
right.
Day 2, Day 3, Day 4. I did over 18,000 push-ups last year. You know why? I did 56 every day.
That's right.
If you take 365 times 15 minutes, you are the worst enemy for Fauci. You
That's
start
right.
measuring your water. You go a half a gallon of water, increase your live food, exercise 15 minutes a day. The hospitals would be empty. You know why? Because you'd be healthy as a freaking, sea biscuit in the movie Sea, but you'd be healthy as a horse breaking records. You will be healthy as a incredible. So that's what a show tonight, right, Christy?
Dr. Ira said, great show. He always learns from Dr. Chris.
Dr. Ira loves you.
I love Dr. Ira.
Dr. Ira loved when you brought this book out, remember? Remember the conversation you had about this book, Dr. Ira? This is actually number one seller in the marketplace. You've actually outsold my books. Remember? And I knew you were gonna sell your book out at your event. I brought the books you gave me and gave them back to you, and you sold them out, right?
I did, and I had to send my son to ask you because I was afraid to go myself.
Because I said not because you're gonna blow your books out because your information is incredible. So I brought the books you gave me to give out when I speak at events. I said she just takes it. This book is so good. And you sold what, 40, 50, 60 books?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yes.
And that's lives being changed, guys.
Yeah.
So guys, with that said, what a great show.
Awesome.
Guys, get involved. We love you guys. We care about you. Share this episode. Hit share, hit like, hit comment. Let us know. Any private conversation you want to have with Dr. Christa, it's between you and Christa. You guys can call. I don't give her number out live on my show because of all the trolls. Some shows she does. I have a massive amount of trolls against me. So I want to keep her number private. You guys can call or text us at 561-847-3467 or email team, team at conservativebusinessjournal.com, and we will connect you with Dr. Christa. Get a hold of her book. Roy, congratulations. Kathy, congratulations. Josie, congratulations. I'm so excited because we're taking them out. And when you get Christa's book, study it. Chapter 7, the recipes, and have fun with the recipes. Enjoy it. All right, Christa, we'll have you back on again, tomorrow night or something, the next night? But I do have tomorrow night Candace Taylor, who's running for Georgia governor, on for round number 2. Candace is awesome. She has a new video out about she plays like a Rocky. I'm going to open up with that video with Candace. Yeah. But here's the final picture I want to show because your mother almost took my neck off with the sword. Your mother loved the event, right, Dr. Christa? How much did Debbie love the event?
She really did. She had a great time.
First thing she did was she went and she bought these shirts are available in Marketplace. She bought Let's Go Brandon shirts, your mom, right?
She did, yeah. She bought them for her friends.
The first Marketplace purchase at the event was Dr. Chris's mom buying a Let's Go Brandon shirts.
That's right.
So awesome. And remember, too, guys, we got a new We the People Fight Back event shirts available. American Patriot in the back, which is awesome. I tell you, we're building a serious community. You guys can try to censor us, but all of I guarantee you, Saturday, March 5th, to be sold out. Guaranteed. But I'm censored.
No doubt.
Yeah, we're not censored. There's more of us than them. So here's your mom. Well, here's you letting it rip on the stage, changing lives. And Todd was in that room, and Todd made those changes.
Good.
Todd heard you, and Connie heard you. They take notes. That's why in our program, it's not some Raleigh crop, but it's 9,000 speakers for 3 minutes each. You get to take notes. You get to learn. Take notes. You go home, learn them. That's where our program is so powerful. And then here's another great picture of your mom. For some reason, she put the sword to my throat. This is proof.
She's a beauty.
So there's Debbie, Chris's mom, and then that awesome your son was a hit with all the ladies, right? And all the men that go, if I eat like the way Chris says, I'll be. How strong is your son, right?
He is. I will say he is amazingly strong. I mean, he is really powerful in the weight room. He really very powerful.
That's awesome. Wow, awesome show. And Roy up in Michigan. So guys, with that said, Dr. Christy last night. Christy was part of our team. Krista, thank God Dr. Betsy's with a B.
Yeah, that's right.
And anybody else want to recognize, guys, I'm very proud of you on Cloud Hub. I'm so excited because it's moving people over.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Over. And I'm actually contacting Jeff Brain tonight, the founder of Cloud Hub, to have him on my show to talk about what he's built and what he's developed.
That's awesome.
Get so healthy, stay out of the hospital. And let me see right here because there's 13 more comments here. Betsy, you said Franz twice.
Say it a third time, Betsy. Say it a third time.
That's right. And Betsy says John doesn't lack self-esteem. I did though, as my story when I was a stutter and a stammerer, and that's when I overcame fear through self. That's what my company's called, Di Lemme Development Group. I developed myself. I do an hour and a half, 2 hours a day of reading every day. I read an hour today. I read another hour tonight. Quiet your mind, shut everything off, and read and learn. Develop your mind. All of you are champions born by God with greatness in you. Don't let fear, indecision, procrastination, or past relationships affect you.
That's right.
Because that's why I ranted earlier about fear. You get your fear and faith are exactly the same. The attitudes of expectancy. You expect something great or expect something bad. Those around you expecting something bad, get away from them. Just get away from negative, nasty, dysfunctional people. I'm going back to my core, right, Christy? I'm going back to what you see me in my prime. Well, I'm on prime now, but you Christy, you met me at a seminar 13 years ago. I was speaking at a self-development business conference in Boca Raton. She was in the audience and then obviously invested in my programs, and now has been. And I remember when I was first coaching you, you started like, you know what, I want to write a book, and we look at this now.
That's right.
So
that's right.
All right. Yeah, Krista, we'll keep the show to 45 minutes, an hour and 37 minutes later. But it's so important. It's so important, guys.
It is important. Very important.
It's so important. And yet, final words, except your mom, laughing, taking off my neck. What'd your son say about the event?
He loves it. Yeah, he really does. He enjoys, he's got an entrepreneurial spirit. So he loves being part of stuff like that. He loves hearing the speakers, loved hearing Tom Homan and just talk about really, things that you don't get to hear other places that aren't in the mainstream media. So he enjoys it.
And he was there tonight. They met Presti the first night.
That's right. He was.
He was there.
He was there.
He volunteered. You did. We volunteered for the Trump campaign back up in when Trump and the traitor, the Judas says, Mike Pence in the camp when they actually made the announcement that they were running for 2020. And he found out this was a great show tonight.
Tremendous show.
Guys, share this. Any questions, you let us know. Get Chris's book. Make this. Look, some of you may not like me after the show. You may have unfollowed me, unsubscribed. It's fine. The Todds, the Connies, the Audreys that are listening tonight. The Karen, it's tremendous. That's what we do for many others. Obviously, I can't read all the comments during the show. But good night. God bless. Get tied in. Whatever we can do for you, we're here for you. Call or text 561-847-3467. Email team, TEAM team at conservativebusinessjournal.com. Make sure you get a hold of Chris's book, conservativemarketplace.com, conservativemarketplace.com. So important. Just the word conservative and the word marketplace all together. Conservativemarketplace.com. Under books, grab a hold of Chris's book. Under health supplements, get a hold of the quercetin, the NAC. We got many of the Purium any products. Any question about the supplements, let us know. It is so important. Also, you can find a store by going to conservativebusinessjournal.com. Submit and then click on store. Get your email into our database. We've published some great articles the last couple of days, right? About the 5G, the airlines, the New York City person, the cops arresting people for vaccine passports. Another guy pushes someone in front of the train. Then today in Hawaii right now, you have to show proof of boosted or vaccine crap to get into be Hawaii. So Hawaii's done. We have to quarantine for 5 days. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? And one of your mentors, which a book we recommend, Dr. John McDougall, The Start Solution, began his journey in Hawaii.
That's right.
Because he realized in Hawaii, but that's another whole show in and of itself.
Okay.
So, guys, with that said, good night. God bless you. And then, Christy, just stay on for a second after we conclude.
Sure.
So, guys, you're awesome. Good night. God bless you guys. Thank you. Thank you for the participation. Thank you for your health journeys and all your sharing. Benito, you're very welcome. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. And that's a real Karen. Karen, you're awesome. Anything else, Christy?
Nope. See you later.
See you guys. You're awesome. And all right. And broadcast. You're awesome. Good night.